Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. I'm being called to do this. I don't know if I'm going to keep it private or not, but I just want to give a little disclaimer that my stories that I'm sharing here I have no intention of taking away from people who are dying or in really tragic situations right now, whether it be bombing, natural disasters. I just wanted to get on here because I'm being encouraged to come on and talk about my near-death experiences. So if that's not something you want to see, if you're annoyed with me sharing, please just, you don't need to be here. It's fine. But I have been called to share because I've been reflecting on it. And again, we're doing more throat chakra exercises. I am like healing immensely from doing these exercises. So I highly suggest to speak your truth. Sing too. Singing has been really important. But anyway, alright, I've had a lot of near-death experiences. I experienced death of a friend at a very young age. That kind of altered my reality. I had a parent who passed away. I'm gonna get to me and my near-death experiences, but I just want to talk about death as a whole. Right? The veil is very thin. I believe there's such thing as an afterlife. I don't necessarily believe in like the Christian carnival heaven. I don't at all, actually. I don't believe in hell either. I do believe in purgatory, and I also believe in reincarnation. But anyway, so I had some near-death experiences. I think the biggest one, I mean, death is death, right? Like, regardless, it's gonna get all of us. But the one that I'm thinking of, the biggest one, was when I flipped my Blazer. I was 16. I'd had my license for, almost 9 months. And this was back in, what, 2003? 2003? Yeah, and my dad had already died. 2003, 2004. No, because I was a junior. Yeah, it was 2003, I think. Anyway, so my birthday's in February. I got my license on my 16th birthday. I was wearing my Blink-182 shirt, the pink one. And, I barely passed. I barely passed my driver's license. If you've ever been in a car with me, you probably are not surprised by that. Anyway, so there was this thing that you had to have restrictions on, right after you get your license for like 9 months, right? You can only have one other, like, person in your car unless it's a parent, right? So, of course, Ashley was breaking the law. We were leaving swim practice, and I was taking everybody home. And I had one friend in particular who never wore a seatbelt, like, ever. And I dropped her off first, and she's like, wait, let me just go grab my stuff and I'll come with you. And I said, no, stay here, I'll come back for you. Which I didn't, because I flipped my Blazer. And then I had my friend Megan and another girl on the swim team. And so I dropped Megan off, and it was on the way home, or like on the way back. The other girl lived by me. The neighborhood was like separated by like a big busy street. So I was in a residential area, and an old woman pulled out, and I think she was making a left-hand turn, and then I like swerved to avoid her, because we would have like T-boned if I didn't. And then I hit the curb at like the exact right angle, and we flipped, me and the other girl, so it was just me and her in the time. So by the time when this happened, I wasn't breaking the law, but I did just have like 3 or 4 people in my car. So anyway, I think I've shared this story before. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of it too. I don't know where that is. Hang on, I'm making baby dinner. So we flipped 4 times and we landed upside down. And we were both wearing our seatbelts. We were cool. And we climbed out of so she was in the front passenger seat. So we climbed out of the the front windows, not the windshield, but because all the glass broke, right? I'm laughing because one thing about me, especially when I was 16, is that my car was a crazy mess. So, also I should have mentioned this in the beginning. I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but I'm gonna tell other near-death experiences in this one too. This was just the biggest one. That was like, a lot of people on TikTok for the past couple years have been talking about how when they've had near-death experiences, I'll get back to why my car was messy and that was the thing. They see angels, like angel people appear. I had that happen. There was a woman there who was like not there in the physical, but she was for me because I was in shock. And she had a towel and like put it over my shoulders and was calming me down, and I was like really nervous about my mom's reaction. I remember sitting on the curb with my car upside down, all of my shit everywhere, and here's the kicker. It was the week that the Blink-182 self-titled album came out, and so we were blaring Blink-182 and the music does not stop. So my car is just, and I remember sitting there on the curb, and this woman was like helping me out, and she's like, I'm a nurse, but she like really wasn't there. It was like a shock angel situation, which a lot of people have experienced. It's always specifically like a female nurse, which is just fascinating. So anyway, I was like, oh my god, my mom's gonna kill me. Like, my dad had passed away about like a year prior, like a year and a couple months. And, you know, as we know now, me, myself included, my mother's a narcissist. So she didn't kill me, but it was a really intense situation. Also, the parent of the other girls was really sweet. And she wasn't like a close friend. It was just from the swim team. She was younger than me. So, you know, basic ass human high school behavior. So yeah, that was the big one. I think back to 2017, when baby daddy and whoever else was involved in that was keeping me locked inside mental institutions. The near-death experiences that I had in that relationship were, there were a couple nights where my emotional well-being was, I like did not think I would be able to wake up because I was so hurt, but like it was way deeper than that. You know, just emotional pain is so real, right? And so I just want to say, I mean, obviously it's been what, like 21 years since I flipped my blazer. God, I'm old. And then, you know, almost 8 from the other situations. But that shit was so painful. The emotional pain that I felt. There were some times when I was incarcerated also where I don't know if it was like, I don't think it was suicidal ideation. I think it was legit just like so much pain from betrayal, confusion, hurt, loneliness, you know, where it just was like, I don't even feel like, and that's super real, and that's why I wanted to talk about this, because it's super real to have those feelings and feel like you're experiencing a near-death experience, right? People die from heart attacks because of heartbreak, right? Like, this is legitimate, real stuff, and it's important to talk about. So yeah, the physical implications of me flipping my blazer. So I was like dubbed like crash test dummy for my senior prank awards or whatever. I also hit a deer. That wasn't very serious. I'm just, yeah. So, what else? There were a couple other things. I don't remember. I don't think I've ever had any, like, oh, the neighbor. Duh. The neighbor shot our house and missed me by like about 4 feet. I thought it was 8 feet, but it was like 8 feet from the ground. And I was sitting in my bed, and Niall and I were still co-sleeping at this time. This happened in February. And the neighbor shot his gun in his house because he was tripping on whatever it was. He was like having hallucinations, drug-induced hallucinations. So anyway, this bullet missed me by 4 feet, me and my son. So I see that as a pretty large near-death experience. It's not as dramatic as, but like guns are quick. 4 feet, that's it. And like it happened at a time where we like sitting up too. So like maybe even 2 feet. If you like take away all of those, you know, he missed my head by like 2 feet. It's crazy. That's a near-death experience. I don't know about anything else. Like, I don't think I've had any, like, dangerous encounters, besides, you know, ridiculousness with the neighbor, but, like, you know, like, I don't really need to be out on the town, like, when other people are, so, like, those kind of dangerous encounters, I don't think. The Blazer is the big one, and I think the ironic thing about that is that my dad's, so that happened in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and that my dad's license plate, so I inherited his car when he passed away, which was the Blazer, and he had a personalized license plate, and the license plate was AZ Dream, because my parents had their retirement land in Prescott. My mom sold that, you know, and then I ended up out here instead. But yeah, I don't know, I've just been thinking about it a lot. I feel like there's probably, I mean, everyone's done stupid stuff, but those are the big ones. The gun situation, and I don't know, I'm not a gun-toting person, so for me it feels probably, I don't know, I mean, maybe not, I don't know. I'm still kind of in shock about that situation, because it was so fucking intense. I can speak about other people's death. The first time I experienced death was, well, my first friend that I experienced death with was my friend Hussein, and it was in 3rd grade, and we were swimming for gym. Wow, that's crazy, because I didn't even start swimming until 4th grade. I wonder if this had something to do with that. He drowned during gym class, and he was a good friend of mine. So that was the first time that I experienced that. I think I had experienced a couple pets at that point, like losing pets. But yeah, that was 3rd grade when Hussein died. Shit was wild. That shit was wild. I've had a lot of friends die. My prom date passed away, Cezanne. He passed away a couple years after high school. We had lost contact because I was in college, but I was still in town, but just different crowds, you know. And then we lost Adam, my other friend. Rumor has it that Cezanne died of a drug overdose, but he had really bad kidneys, so I'm not sure if it was a medical death or not. And then Adam was also in addiction, but I'm not sure if that wasn't a suicide or not. I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard, he chose to go, you know. Oh my god, I'm a fucking asshole. Hang on. And then my father passed away also. So for a long time I thought I was like a death angel. And I had a lot of guilt from, like, especially my dad, because, like, you know, teenage angst, and in 8th grade I was like, oh, you're a dick, I don't like you. You know, nobody likes their parents at that age. I mean, I think things are changing now, but, like, back in the day it was pretty common to just, like, not really respect your parents like that. And I don't know, I thought I was a death angel for a long time, and then when the crash happened, I was like, man, you know. And then that was, like, it started, like, this whole string of other people in my, like, graduating class whose dads died. Like, there are, like, a whole group of us that had dads that passed away within those 4 years of high school. It was pretty intense. One of them got decapitated in a car accident. I remember that. The whole class was like, that was crazy. That was, like, a year after my dad passed away. So anyway, I know this isn't all sunshine and roses, but I think it's an important thing to talk about, especially when we are experiencing so much mass death. You know, as a psychic medium, I communicate with the other side. I'm not super... I don't just like, you know, I don't Ouija board and stuff like that. It's just when you think of someone, it's them communicating, you know. It's the same if you're alive. Like, you know, when you have dreams about people, they're more than likely thinking about you. Or when you think of someone when you're doing something, they're more than likely thinking about you. It's the same thing on the other side. Everything is just energy. Some of us are alive, some of us aren't. But yeah, so I just wanted to say, like, hopefully this gives people a little bit of peace. Hopefully it, you know, can support some reflection on your own life. But I feel like that might answer a question for some people if they're wondering, like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like a dick, but I do go after shit. Like, a lot of people don't. And I feel like it has a lot to do with how many times I've almost died. I was over-medicated a lot in the times that I was on pharma. There was a time in jail I had an allergic reaction. I don't consider those near-death experiences, but there are definitely uncomfortable situations that most people don't find themselves in. And weren't very easy at the time. Oh, there was this one time I was on suicide watch in a holding cell in jail, and they stripped me butt-ass naked. They took my glasses. Have I ever shared this story? Oh, it was when I was in there before they moved me to the mental institution. So I was in jail for, I'm going to run out of time, but I was in jail for like 3.5 months before, back in 2009, before they moved me to the mental institution. And remind you, I am not mentally ill. I'm autistic. I was having burnout, and everybody around me wanted to control me and didn't want me to... I was literally telling them everything that everybody's talking about these days, but it was, you know, a long time ago and people weren't ready to hear the truth, so I ended up crazy. Anyway, I was on suicide watch because I was just so depressed being in jail, okay? So they moved me from the housing unit with the other women and put me in suicide watch. They took my glasses, you're butt-ass naked, and I was in a Velcro straitjacket. For like 24 hours, so I couldn't see the clock. There was a clock right there, and it was a holding cell, so it was right by, like, when you go to jail, you get booked, and there's, like, that's where the cops go. They, like, go into this big garage, and then there's, like, a holding cell where you sit on a bench, and then you go inside, and there's, like, a TV, and that's where you get to make your one phone call. And then there's like the drunk tank and holding cells, individual holding cells. So I was in one. So like all these motherfuckers who are being pulled in, I can't see anybody. They could see me. I'm butt ass naked. The straitjacket is a fucking cement block bed. I wasn't enduring that. So then from then on, I learned when they ask you how you're feeling, lie. Because I'm not doing that shit again. Anyway. Alright. Shit was wild. Alright, I am gonna let you go. Thanks for listening to that. I started listening to a lot of old music that I listened to, like the darker stuff today, like Taking Back Sunday and Senses Fail and The Used, which is a little darker than Blink-182, right? And so I was just kind of reminiscing because, yeah, it feels good to do that. I'm healing myself as we all are. Hopefully, have a good one.